Amendment that they've been desperately trying to be that they could never be. They don't recognize that they're the victim of birthright robbery,
Hmm.
and they're trying to be a part of the club that robbed them. And the club that robbed them is bankrupt, and they're looking to participate and to solidify a claim in the fraud, i.e., become a holder in due course of the birth certificate bonds. Them bonds are dead. However, if they can get you to seek a value in them, then you have no right of claim in the future, do you? If something is fraud and you don't declare the fraud, but instead seek to participate in it for a benefit, you've just sanctioned it, haven't you? And that's called consent, isn't it? That's why you see them keep promoting among the people, capture the birth certificate. What it actually does, it seems like the people won't get a benefit. How are you going to get a benefit of an estate that is bankrupt? There's nothing to distribute.
Right.
And the instrumentality that they created for its distribution, the bonds, are dead, which is why the world trade markets have crashed. And so it's it's like somebody trying to buy Sears stock now. For what? It's not that Sears ain't familiar. Oh, what we don't want you to do, Dr. Naila, is buy any silver. What we want you to do is invest in Kmart, which is a part of Sears, and pennies. Now, if you start checking them out in the real world of their stock, it's dead. And the only reason why all of them aren't closed is because persons that you call congressmen and senators have stock investments in them, and they've been using Wall Street to prop them up. That's called quantitative easing. In other words, they didn't collapse, including the banks, because they've been propping them up. That's why I've been telling people for 7 or 8 years, if you really want to know what's going on here, keep your eyes on Deutsche Bank.
That's what everybody says. Yeah.
See, but people in their consciousness, right, thinking, well, Deutsche Bank is in Germany. What does that have to do with North America? It never dawns on them unum sanctum operations. You see the point? Or the German-Dutch hybrids that took over the Order of Islam in the 1800s at the North Africa, here, Egypt. So they separated Egypt from Africa. It's mental. So you better learn about the land, because it ain't just the aggregate soil. And you've been out to sea. So we're pulling you back on the land jurisdiction. And so the concept that people have is the United States is the land. Never was.
That's a corporation.
It's a corpse.
It's a corpse.
It is the dead,
corpse,
sucking off the living. But in
vampire,
it's called exploitation.
Yeah.
Look at the synonyms of vampire, and one of the synonyms in the dictionary will tell you what? Vampire.
Yeah.
And it ain't like they ain't been eating your babies, because they have. Roe versus Wade, now you know what that really served, don't you? How many people look at that as helping women? Roe versus Wade. They look at it as helping women, don't they? They didn't look at it as meat supplies for burger joints, did they?
No.
They didn't look at it as a source of adrenochrome, did they?
No.
They didn't look at it as a source of selling hearts, livers, spinal columns, and melanin, did they?
No. Or stem cells.
Well, that's the spinal cord.
Yeah, the stem cells.
We're talking like for real.
I know.
Even to this very day. And they look at Roe versus Wade as helping women to take control of their bodies, not sacrificing their children, murdering their children. See how they can turn actual murder and demon sacrifice and flesh eating and cannibalism under the guise of helping women. They call it Roe versus Wade, and how many women in self-righteous ignorance were actually supporting child sacrifice, and half of them didn't even know when they go get 2-for-1 burger that they was eating their own children and getting sick. You notice how our people got mad cow disease,
Yeah.
and you can't reason with them, and they don't even know that it comes from cannibalism. And right to this day, most of them don't know that the reason why they got burger joints on every other corner, multiple ones, and that cows don't grow that fast. Do you see them having funerals for all these millions of abortions they have every year?
No.
Do you see crematoriums burning 24/7? No, but you do see burger joints all over the place.
Yeah, somebody put up there Soylent Green.
That's what it's called.
Mm.
They even make movies, see, because they're making movies to tell you what they're doing. So see, that removes, like you were talking in the car earlier, that kind of reduces the karmic debt.
Mm-hmm.
And so the people are consenting, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're saying, I understand, or I stand under them. That's what they're saying. That's why the hybrids will always say that these people are consenting to their condition. And then when challenged with the information, the people say, well, we didn't know. If you know gods and devils every other two minutes of your conversation, you certainly should know this. You know, if you know what's the mysteries of the dark side of the moon and what God did in the heavens and the earth and the Bible and the Quran and all, you know all this stuff, you should know what's in front of your face. You know, how dare you claim the love of God you do not see and don't love your brothers and sisters whom you see every day. Therefore, how dare you claim to know the laws of God's in the heavens and the earth and creation and don't even know the laws that govern your life every day by which you measure your alleged spirituality for you to get someplace else. You know, people don't know that the Bible is a great teacher.
Well, I thank you for stopping me from throwing the book out because you said,
well, because it's your stuff.
Oh no, I know now. I see it in a totally different light.
That's why.
It was it that
it's
woke
your
me up.
book.
Look, it woke me up.
Your Bibles come from Eritrea. Go look in Book of Acts. You know, our people's concepts about the book is wrong. They think, you know, this is why you hear me always say people's concepts of you know, these so-called different religious orders. They think that if they claim to be a Jew, they only have a Torah. If they think they're Muslim, they only have a Quran. They think they're Christian, they only have a Bible. The priesthood have all the books because they're all related. That's one of the keys to their power over the people.
They have it all.
They keep the people separated when all of the books originate from Saba. They do. All of them. And they think that like you'll see a lot of people that claim to be Afrocentric think that the Bible belongs to the hybrid Europeans. No, it belongs to Africa.
Someone asked you to talk about the craft full of animals. Oh, I believe that was genetic. Those were genetic.
The crafts.
You know.
Oh, you mean the symbol? Oh, the symbol. You're talking about the ark.
The ark.
Oh, now the ark. Now this is the ark.
Yeah.
The ark is the womb. Yeah. Or you'll see in ancient Egypt the symbol of Nut over the earth with her womb. Mm-hmm. That's the ark. The womb is the ark. Also, it is the heartbeat. It is also the vibrations of the drum. It is also the keys to the genetic
the genetic
makeup and alchemy that is done within the womb, and logically our relationship to nature and our responsibility to nature and the honor of our mothers and fathers is the covenant. So the ark of the covenant begins with the womb.
But the taking of two of each was not literal.
It symbolizes duality,
yeah, well,
masculine and feminine duality in nature itself. Nature creates only male and female.
But in some cases it was clean and unclean seven, and some were sevens and some were twos. But it was also genetics. You could always take a sampling, a genetic sampling of a bunch, and put it on a.
Let's look at this.
Because people think that everything that we have now is modern, and back then there.
How about the anthropomorphic? This is anthropomorphic. Yeah. So anthropomorphic is genetic strain, right? Let's be realistic. You can go to a zoo, which is a big complex on acres of land, can't you? Can't you?
Yes.
Now, the point of it is, what ship has you ever seen that can hold not just those, and those are limited animals of all types, where you can have food, feed, water for all of them and all people on any ship? Nice. It's anthropomorphic. It's for children. It's preservation, no different than, do you know that they have archives for organic seeds that they preserve, that they keep away from humanity, so humanity can't have all the proper foods they need, but so it can be preserved for future generations? Right now, as we're speaking, that's an ark.
Yeah. Preservation of
and of course, people don't know that cloning is not a new.
True.
It's ancient. As long as we've been here, we've been cloning.
Absolutely.
It's why half the vegetables that people eat are hybrids. You know, as an example, if you get a real potato, it's either red or purple. Mm-hmm. If it ain't red or purple, it's hybrid. Same thing with the corn or maize. Maize, or they call maize, maize. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We've got hundreds of different strains, and they've come from thousands of years of hybriding. So, like, say, for you want some of your best tasting corn and really beautiful corn, then you have to go in Southwest Africa. That means you have to go in the Yucatan and below, down to Peru, Chile, etc., where the hybrids have not destroyed everything. Because up here in the north, they pretty much destroyed everything. You know, because they're in the process of ridding the land of the people, yeah, and creating sickness. So most of the foods we get here are hybrids. And that's just the truth.
Without any nutritional value.
Yeah.
Sometimes things that are harmful.
As a matter of fact, when Dr. Sebi, was teaching people about proper foods, etc., because remember, that's from Honduras. So now you're in Central Africa. So the Yucatan is Central Africa.
Yeah, because if you take that part and put what's in between it.
Olmexum.
Okay.
Oh, they'll say Olmec.
Olmec.
And see, so more of the cultural foods are just simply natural part of our diets. And so one of the beauties of Dr. Sebi is he's just simply reintroducing the pre-existing culture to the people. That's all. And we're blessed with even a lot of his family members who are still maintaining the legitimacy of that African culture, of the relationship of the proper foods for the cell construction and cell maintenance. That's why certain foods they would teach you that are for the cattle, but not for you. The cattle and other animals, chickens and cattle, got more than one stomach, or chickens got gizzards. Cows have more than one stomach. Mm-hmm. Certain foods are designed for them, but not for you. But again, we've been outside of our culture. So not only have we, in many ways, lost connection with the land, land, You know, we thus also lost our inheritance. So let's look at the anthropomorphic story. You know, honor your mothers and fathers, right? That the land given to you by your God, etc. That your days may be long upon the land that the Lord thy God has given thee.
Mhm.
You're talking inheritance. So that which is passed down from your mothers and fathers are both corporal and incorporeal. So it's both the knowledge and the physical land. That's where you get in law in corporal or corporal and incorporeal. So incorporeal would be the abstract, or what you call the spiritual. See, so when people are looking at land, they're not looking at that, are they? Because they're not taught that. They just think dirt, don't they? Like a farm. Well, guess what? It's not limited to that, is it?
No.
We've been played on a major scale. And didn't come from some mystery devil, came from the priesthood. And the coups to destroy our families and to create the schism that we're suffering from. Our people say our people are divided and they need to come together, blah, blah, blah. All you need to do is read the Christian Black Codes and you'll know why they haven't. And you know also the state of mind. And you also know why the men and the women are what? Coming together and they're competing with each other rather than harmonizing and thinking something's wrong with you don't love me, so we're breaking up. We don't know that we're out of harmony by our belief systems that have nothing to do with spirituality, have everything with mind control under colonial operations, under codes noir. And we blaming the devil. And Pastor Pigfoot is making his collections for his 501c3 Skull and Bones agreement with Rome. Now you understand why in the poorest neighborhoods they can afford to have one of them buildings on every other corner.
That and a liquor store.
Their military operations are people think it's God's house and stuff. Well, keep thinking it.
Someone asked Beverly Hills asked a question of what is the big secret about the RH negative blood?
The RH negative blood is they're kind of like referring to the original, or even when they talk about the zero or the ought.
You have you have O.
Yeah, they're talking about the original people.
Well, there was a word that the RH negative I'd heard.
But the RH dealing with the Reese's monkey.
Yeah, monkey or
yeah, the Reese's. But Charles Darwin. All right. Remember how we've told people? Remember I was going into your Oxford, and you have the abbreviated Oxford.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people, go to your unabbreviated Oxford dictionary and go look up hybrid. And then go look to the scientific name for Anthropopithecus and Pongidae, which is troglodyte nigger, and put them together, and then you'll understand the Reese's aspect, and also you'll understand why sometimes their blood clashes with ours. It's Reese's monkey.
So it's okay. So there's a mixture. There's some
chimpanzee.
Okay.
The reason why they can't find the so-called missing link or structured body because it doesn't exist. The missing link is the knowledge of the genetic experiments, not an evolutionary stage between Pongidae.
What's missing is how they did it.
That's called Dr. Moreau's Island. Look at the movie.
I saw that, the Island of Dr. Moreau.
Now, go look in your linguistic translation.
Moreau.
Yeah, no, go look up.
I've seen it.
What is Moreau? Moreau is French for more.
More. Although a more is not.
No, they're telling you that.
But a more is
they're
not.
Talking. This is what they're talking. Dr. Moreau's Island is the hybrid Europeans' angle to tell you about Yakub experiments in the Yucatan. And the island is talking about Patmos. That's talked about in the Bible.
Where John said he was exiled too.
There you go. See, not unlike they were talking in the car, they tell you. The deal of it is, do you know what you're hearing? You know, and so if people don't have these reference points, the hybrids can do stories just like Wild Wild West with Will Smith, The Black Knight with Martin Lawrence, True Romance with Anthony Hopkins, The Wizard of Oz, and the people don't know that they're talking about them. But what does it do? It reduces the karmic debt response.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like when you were talking in the car earlier, and Sis was analyzing to figure out the dog and pony show that's being played out now.
Mm-hmm.
The interjection that I would have interjected to give thought to the process to look at would be the two United States.
Okay.
The corporation distinguished from the legitimate treaty agreements concerning trade on the organic land, land.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not aware of that, it confuses because you already know. Well, here's two hybrids. Neither one of them are what the true aboriginal. So ultimately, what's being played out here? One to get you to accept the other, whereas both you lose.
Right.
And what are we supposed to be doing? What are we supposed to be doing meanwhile?
And that's
claiming your estate while they're squabbling over your estate.
Mm-hmm. Here's a question here. Let me ask you about